Hello, my fellow Cowboys fans, and welcome to another edition of Cowboys Imperial Postgame Show, brought to you by Genco Olive Oil. When you want olive oil that you can't refuse, then make it Genco Olive Oil. Normally, what I plan to do this season is have an intro, and then you go to a break and that kind of stuff. But I got some things to do the next couple of weeks, so I'm not going to put any effort into it. And is anybody going to get mad if I read off of a board? I know I had this stack of papers and I read from them, and people were, what are you doing? It looks horrible. Oh, okay. But I need this to keep track. I have this by me during the game to keep track of what's going on. Number one, Derek Anderson's botched snap. I believe that if it were not for that botched snap, in the first quarter, the Browns would have gone down to either kick a field goal or score a touchdown. Romo had tremendous pocket presence in this game, and some of that was due to the new techniques that he explained all throughout the offseason, which was I got to stand and I can't move forward, and I got to make sure I'm standing still, because if I move forward, the protection's actually behind me when it should be in front, all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't hurt when you have Hudson Houck teaching the offensive line again and teaching them how to be mean. I love the fact that Eric Williams is there as an assistant coach. That contributes to some of the pocket presence as well. Now, let's keep going on with the good news. Creighton, he looked good in this game, but this is one of those bully games that I've been telling you about on the blogs. This is one of the bully games. We're playing, a team with an inexperienced secondary. Oh, big deal. Yeah, he goes and gets some catches. Let's see what he does next week against Asante Samuel and Lito Shepherd. Then I'll be impressed. Until then, the jury's still out on Patrick Creighton. Felix Jones. Now, this kid, I know how Stan feels living in the state of Tennessee, having Jason Witten come from the University of Tennessee and playing for the Cowboys. I know how Stan feels now. It felt so good to see Felix Jones get that draw and take it in for the score. Oh, that felt so good. And he busted some big runs too. However, he had a bad block. That block, which led to Romo's interception, if he would have gone full force into Willie McGinnis, then maybe Romo doesn't throw that interception. But he did throw the interception, and that sucks! It's a sign of how things used to be in 2007. And if we play like we did in 2007, then you just better get used to the divisional round, you hear? Okay. So, speaking of Romo, he did have that big hit. Whoa. That was one heck of a hit. The three Browns defenders, they came and they looked like they were going to tear him apart. And when Fox zoomed in on him grimacing, live of him grimacing, I thought, oh my gosh, well, Brad Johnson could come in, we can still win the game, but oh gosh, how long is Romo going to be out? Thankfully, it was just a busted chin. Thankfully, that's all that it was. But man, that was scary. And then it was like 28-7 still. And we went ahead and they had Romo pass some more. I'd have been running the ball. Or I'd have put Brad Johnson in. We don't need him injured. Come on. Then what are we going to do next? It's some of the same stuff that I was seeing. Where the whole wide receiver thing, and it kind of bugs me. Some of the coaching decisions that they make. And that's some to do with De Leon. He's been talking to me, and in this game I kind of have to go with him because the pass defense. Okay, Steve Sanders, who's that? Colonel Sanders? Is that the guy they have on the KFC logo? Steve Sanders, never heard of him. Okay, Kellen Winslow Jr., Braylon Edwards. That's all the Browns had to pass to, and yet they were able to score 10 points on our lousy, stinking pass defense. Something's got to change with that pass defense. Or like I says, You better get used to the divisional round. You better get used to wonderful, awesome regular seasons and nothing to show in the postseason. This defense has got to step up. Maybe it will step up. Maybe Terrence Newman, his injury has something to do. Maybe that's what I'm hoping. But Pac-Man Jones, certainly, he did a good job. He was okay. He had some hits that drop. The drop that was nullified by the illegal formation in the first half. Now, normally when Cowboys players encounter, they see a guy bobbling for a catch, they'll watch him. They'll watch him make the catch, and then they'll decide they'll go tackle him. No! While he was bobbling for it, Pac-Man went over and laid him out. Way to go, Pac-Man! Thank you. You know how to play ball. However, he dropped the punt, which worries us a little bit. And he also had that pass interference call, which we'll talk about later in penalties. But going back to what I was talking about, where they watch a guy bobble with the ball and go ahead and catch it anyway, that's what happened on Ware's fumble. Ware went ahead and sacked Derek Anderson and made him fumble. And our guys just watched one of the Browns' offensive players pick the ball up and take it for 7 yards. We should have been on that ball. We got to get turnovers. We have to get turnovers for this defense to be dominant. But I was glad to see that Ware got a sack. I was thinking, oh goodness, we're not getting any pressure. How are we going to do this? We can't go on. We got to get pressure. And I didn't see enough pressure. Here and there I saw pressure, but we got to get pressure consistently. A good secondary is aided, sort of like with a good rush, sort of like a good pocket is created by a good offensive line. You see what I'm talking about? We need something like that. Now let's go into the penalties. Well, Flozell Adams, he had a false start. That's a given. Scandrick had the illegal contact penalty, I believe. Tank Johnson had the offsides. Pac-Man Jones had the pass interference, which led to a touchdown. Third down! And when that happens, Tony Curtis, he had the hold. Proctor had a false start. T.O. and the touchdown. That's no big deal. And the pass interference call, I think, was tacky. He did this! He didn't do this! He did this! And then they call him for it. That's the world I live in. Colombo, he had a false start. Notice how Flozell and Colombo have false starts. That's a little worrisome. Leonard Davis, he had a holding too. And I think Flozell Adams went ahead and had another false start for good measure. But honestly, we can't really get on to Flozell because he has the right ear that he can't hear out of. So he doesn't know what's going on. He goes when he goes. We ought to be happy with the fact that he blocks as well as he does. It goes to Pro Bowl for it. All right. This is Romo's 11th 300-yard passing game. Do you know what this means? This means he's in second place in the franchise. Who was in front of him with 2 more 300-yard passing games? Troy Aikman with 13. So that means that this year probably Romo's going to be number 1 in most of the passing stats for this franchise. But he's a bum quarterback. He dates the blondes, That's what we'll hear next. He dates the blondes. It's no big deal. Marion Barber, he had the rib thing going on. But he had those 2 touchdowns. It was great. I loved it. I love watching Marion Barber run. But hopefully the rib thing isn't a big deal. But if it is, so what? We have Felix Jones and we have Tayshard Choice. I think we have a triumvirate. How we used to have the running back by committee? Well, the committee has now become a triumvirate as opposed to the dual running backs. Now it's a triumvirate. Hopefully we can get some touches with Deion Anderson. You go back to the Landry days. What was it? It was where everybody ran the ball. Walt Garrison, Dwayne Thomas ran the ball. Dan Reeves ran the ball, and Calvin Hill ran the ball. They even had Ditka run the ball some. That's what we got to do. Run the ball, pound it down their friggin' throats. And you know what else ticks me off? When they do this copyrighted telecast of the National Football League and they show the shield or whatever, they show the stinking catch! They don't need to show the catch! That was not a big moment in NFL